Your life isn't stuck because you're not talented, and it isn't stalled because you're lazy. The real thief has been smaller and sneakier, time slipping through your fingers while you hardly notice. Every "I'll do it tomorrow," every quick scroll, every soft delay. Each one nibbling at your dream until the day ends and there's nothing left to show. Deep down, you've had enough. You know there is more in you. You know your future demands more discipline, more focus, more fire. So here's a no-nonsense 7-day plan to take back your time and start moving toward the life you actually want. Not vague hype, not feel-good fluff. A concrete strategy to own your hours, set real boundaries, cut the noise, and act like someone who values their future more than their distractions. Because if you don't control your time, something else will, and it will not have your best interest in mind. You've got goals to chase, potential to fulfill, and hours you can no longer afford to waste. Stay with this plan and watch what happens to your calendar, your confidence, your consistency, and your life. Face where your time is really going. If you want mastery, start with the truth. Not the story in your head, the truth on paper. Most people say they're busy, but busy doing what? That question exposes everything. Until you face it, you'll keep running in circles and wondering why nothing moves. For the next 24 hours, write down everything you do from wake to sleep, all of it. Scrolling, texting, just checking, talking, working, eating, thinking, tidying, wandering, daydreaming. No edits, no filters. The goal isn't guilt, it's clarity, because you can't change what you refuse to see. When you review it, patterns jump out. It's not that you don't have time, it's that you're leaking it. 10 minutes lost here, 20 minutes there, a quick check that becomes 45. Invisible drains run your battery down because you've never mapped the leaks. Awareness is the switch. The moment you see it, excuses get weaker and decisions get stronger. Your brain stops guessing and starts measuring. Ask 3 questions when you review. What created value? What kept the lights on but didn't move me forward? What quietly stole from my future? Circle the thieves. Tomorrow they don't get the same access. Cut the time wasters that are stealing your future. Now that the culprits are circled, it's time to clean house. Most people fail not because they lack a plan, but because they never remove the blockers. They keep trying to work around the clutter. You won't. Make a list of your top drains. Doom scrolling, endless inbox checks, open door availability, gossip loops, background TV, aimless tabs, emergency texts that aren't. Be brutally honest, then remove frictionless entry. Uninstall one toxic app for 7 days. Turn off non-essential notifications. Move your phone to another room during work blocks. Batch email at 2 set times. Remove autoplay from video apps. Put a site blocker on the top 3 domains that eat your hours. Replace the home screen with a single row. Calendar, notes, reading app, timer. Add a parking lot list where you drop random ideas so you don't chase them mid-task. People will still ask for your time. Build a default reply that protects you. I'm in a focus block right now. Can we touch base after 3? Most will respect it. The ones who don't have already told you how they value your day. You don't owe your future to their impatience. Write down the dream you're afraid to admit. You've tracked the hours and cut the noise. Now name what all this is for. Not the safe public answer, the true one. The dream you've buried under someday. The one you don't say out loud because now it sounds like a promise. Write it by hand, a page if you can. Be specific enough that you can aim. I run a lean creative studio, earning X month serving Y kind of clients. I publish a book that helps this audience solve that problem. I am in the best shape of my life. Strong, clear, rested. Don't shrink it to fit your current capacity. Raise your standards to fit the dream. Add a why that hits the rib cage. A why that is louder than your most convenient excuse. This isn't a vision board exercise. It's a contract with your attention. Once the dream lives on paper, it stops being a mist and starts being a map. From now on, every block of time either honors it or betrays it. Turn big goals into small daily wins. Mountains are climbed one step at a time, yet people paralyze themselves by staring at the summit. Your job is the next foothold. Break the dream into projects and projects into daily MVPs. Minimum viable progress. 1 page drafted, 1 pitch sent, 1 lesson completed, 1 40-minute practice set. Define done clearly so you know when to stop. Then stack wins. When you finish your MVP, log it in 1 line. Date, action, feeling. This is how momentum is built, by closing loops. Your brain loves completion. Close enough loops and the wire labeled "I'm a finisher" becomes your default identity. Keep MVPs painfully simple on hard days. If you can't write 300 words, write 100. If you can't do a full workout, do a 10-minute circuit. This is not lowering standards, this is protecting streaks. Streaks make identity, and identity makes the next action easier. Own your morning before the world interrupts it. The first hour sets the tone. If you give it away, the day owns you. If you claim it, the day obeys you. You don't need a perfect routine, you need ownership. Start with the trifecta: water, movement, and a 1-line plan. Drink a full glass. Move your body for 5 to 10 minutes. Walk, mobility, light strength to wake your nervous system. Then write a single sentence. My MVP today is CUDs. 2 guardrails amplify the effect. No phone until the MVP is underway, and no inbox before your first deep focus block. If your life requires early messages, create a 5-minute scan and park where you triage, star the truly urgent, and punt everything else until after the block. You're training your brain that your priorities come first. That lesson compounds. Build a routine that works even on your worst days. A real system isn't fragile. It survives low energy, bad sleep, and crowded calendars. Design a floor-ceiling routine, a high-day ceiling, what you do when you feel great, and a low-day floor, the smallest version you'll still do. Reading, 20 pages ceiling, 5 pages floor. Writing, 600 words ceiling, 100 words floor. Training, 45 minutes ceiling, 10 minutes floor. Focus blocks, 2 50-minute ceiling, 1 25 minutes floor. The floor protects identity, the ceiling grows capacity. Your rule is simple: never drop below the floor 2 days in a row. That one rule prevents tailspins. Learn to say no and mean it. Every yes costs time, energy, and attention. If you spend them on what doesn't matter, you won't have them for what does. Pre-write boundary scripts so you're not negotiating in the moment. I'm heads down on a deadline and can't take new commitments this week. That doesn't align with my priorities right now. I protect 8:11 a.m. for deep work. Can we schedule after? Put your priorities on your calendar first, so when a request comes, you're declining against a visible plan, not a vague feeling. People who respect you will respect your boundaries. People who don't have told you where they belong, outside the hours that build your future. Stop multitasking and start finishing. Multitasking isn't efficiency, it's attention residue. Tiny fragments of focus scattered across tabs and threads. Replace start many with finish one. Adopt a single thread workflow. 1 task, 1 tab, 1 tool, 1 timer. Close loops completely. Draft to done, pitch to sent, workout to logged. Park everything else in a capture list and deal with it after you finish. If you feel the itch to switch, note it, breathe, and return. That 1 rep of returning builds a muscle stronger than any hack. Use focus blocks to get more done in less time. 2 hours of deep, undistracted work can beat 10 hours of kind of working. Build a daily rhythm of focus blocks with clean edges. Example template: 10 minutes warm-up, review MVP, open the exact file, 45 minutes deep work, 5 minutes walk, breathe, 45 minutes deep work, 10 minutes log, can plan next step, phone in another room, notifications off, door closed, headphones on. Even if you play nothing, it's a signal. If you're new to this, start with 25 minutes and grow. Use a physical timer or full screen clock to avoid device gravity. Finish blocks by writing the next microstep on the document itself so tomorrow has 0 friction to begin. Track your progress like your future depends on it. If you're not tracking, you're guessing, and guessing is the fastest way to feel lost. Each evening, spend 5 minutes with a simple template. Wins: 3 lines, what I finished; 1 line, distraction I cut; 1 line, MVP tomorrow; 1 line. You are building a scoreboard for your identity. Over 2 weeks, patterns emerge: the hours where you fly, the triggers that derail you, the habits that move the needle. Adjust your environment accordingly. Tracking isn't about shame, it's about steering. Protect your energy like it's gold. Time without energy is useless. Treat energy as a strategy, not an afterthought. Anchor your day with basics: sunlight in the morning, movement snacks between blocks, protein-forward meals that don't crash you, a mid-afternoon walk instead of a caffeine bomb, a wind down that tells your brain the day is safe to end. Audit people and inputs. Limit the chronic complainers, the drama loops, the outrage feeds. You're not avoiding reality. You're choosing which realities to fuel. Guard the hours that refuel you like a professional. Tomorrow's focus is paid for by tonight's choices. Make this 7-day plan your new standard. One strong week is proof. Many strong weeks is transformation. Treat each week like a contract. Same pillars, same boundaries, same rhythm. Every Sunday, run a 10-minute reset. Keep what worked. Start one small improvement. Stop one leak to remove. Theme one capacity you're building this month. Sleep, strength, savings, skill. Put the big rocks on the calendar first. Focus blocks, training, meals, genuine rest. Let lesser tasks find the cracks. And when life punches the plan, you don't wait for a new month to begin again. You return the next morning to your floor routine and rebuild the streak from where you stand. Now put the plan into motion across the next 7 days. Day 1, audit and anchor. Write the full 24-hour time log. Remove one obvious time wasters app for 7 days. Set tomorrow's MVP and first focus block. Place water by your bed and shoes by the door. Clear your desk. Charge your devices in another room. When morning comes, you won't debate, you'll begin. Day 2, boundaries and blocks. Turn off non-critical notifications. Tell your people your new availability windows. Run 2 focus blocks, even if they're only 25 minutes each. Log your wins in 5 lines. Circle any leak that still slipped in and decide one way to make it harder tomorrow. Day 3, dream an MVP. Write the dream you've been avoiding in 1 full page, then break it into 3 projects and today's MVP. Finish the MVP before you open your inbox. Record how it felt in 1 sentence. Emotions teach as much as numbers. Day 4, floor, ceiling. Set your floor and ceiling for reading, writing, moving, and focus time. If energy is high, hit the ceiling. If it's low, protect the floor. No 0 days. The floor keeps identity safe. Identity keeps momentum alive. Day 5, energy and environment. Simplify meals. Walk right after your longest block. 5-minute breath, reset at 3 p.m. Put a do not disturb deep work sign on your door. Replace music that fragments your attention with sound that steadies it. Put your capture list within reach so your brain feels safe to let go. Day 6, finish and ship. Choose one task that's been almost done all week. Close it. Done beats perfect. Ship the email. Publish the page. Log the workout. Finishing is a skill. Practice it until it becomes your reflex. Day 7, review and recommit. Read the week's logs. Count completions, not intentions. What moved you forward? What leaked? What change removes that leak without willpower? Lock next week's big rocks. Write your MVP for Monday on a sticky and place it where tomorrow begins. Picture the difference this creates. You wake and meet yourself before you meet your notifications. You move your body and drink water like it's a promise. You open the one file that matters and add something real to it before the world even knows you're awake. You close loops. You track proof. You defend your energy. You say no cleanly. You finish what you start. You don't hunt motivation. You manufacture momentum. People notice you're calmer, clearer, more present. They don't see the system, but they feel the evidence. And as the weeks stack, the voice that once said, maybe later, grows quiet while a stronger sentence takes its place. I keep my promises to my calendar, to my craft, to my future, and because you keep them, you begin to scale them. Not with drama, not by tripling overnight, but with the smallest nudge that doesn't break the chain. 10 pages become 12 only when 10 is automatic. 1 focus block becomes 2 only when 1 is sacred. You widen your attention like an athlete who increases the load only after the form is flawless. You set monthly themes that enhance, not distract. 1 month to repair sleep, one to get strong enough to make sitting feel like a choice, one to automate small finances so your morning focus isn't hijacked by money worry. You build a later pipeline for ideas so creation stays focused, and you harvest one idea each Friday to test for 15 minutes on Monday. Most sparks fade, a few catch. You learn to recognize the difference without burning your day on everything that glitters. There will be waves, tough weeks, surprise fires, days where nothing goes as planned. When that happens, you don't declare failure, you run your reset. Water, shoes, floor routine, one focus block, one line in the log, tomorrow's MVP written before bed. This is how streaks survive storms. This is how identity stays intact when circumstances wobble. You will still feel resistance. Good. Resistance is proof you're near the edge where growth happens. Smile at it, name it, work anyway. The win isn't that you felt brave, the win is that you behaved brave. And now, because the foundation is steady, you raise the standard a notch. You move from not wasting time to compounding time. You start compressing what used to take 4 hours into 90 minutes because you enter the block prepared. You capture loose thoughts instead of chasing them, and you finish fully instead of dragging tasks across 3 days. You start noticing that the same two people always drain you by noon. You move those interactions to late afternoon or set boundaries that protect your best work. You start noticing that the same 3 triggers send you to your phone. You put physical distance between you and the trigger during your blocks. You start noticing that the days you sleep, move, and plan feel like smooth roads, and the days you don't feel like gravel. So you design for smooth roads more often than not. You do this without ceremony, without broadcasting. You simply live it day after day until the new rhythm feels more like you than the old one ever did. And when someone asks how you turned your life, you don't hand them a slogan. You tell them you took back your time by telling the truth about it, cutting the noise, naming the dream, shrinking the steps, owning the morning, protecting the floor, saying no cleanly, finishing what you start, working in deep blocks, tracking the proof, guarding your energy, and renewing the contract every week. None of those steps are complicated. All of them are choices. Choices repeated become character. Character repeated becomes destiny. And destiny, for the first time in a long time, stops feeling like something that happens to you and starts feeling like something you're building with your own hands. One focused hour at a time, one honest line in your log, one promise kept today that makes a bigger promise possible tomorrow as you reach for the pen and the timer and the door handle and begin to write, to work, to move, to breathe, to finish, to log, to set up the next day so the next you can step straight into it without delay and continue from this exact sentence into the next action that proves who you are becoming. You stand up, straighten your shoulders, and do the smallest honest thing that moves the day forward. You write the first sentence. You send the one message that matters. You lace the shoes and step outside for 5 minutes because 5 is infinitely more than none. You breathe, you begin, and the beginning becomes momentum the moment you refuse to negotiate with it. You turn down the volume on everything that used to own you. The app that nudged your thumb out of habit starts to feel like background noise. The tab you always kept open for just in case is closed because just in case was stealing right now. You stop waiting for a mood to bless you and start using motion to build the mood you need. It's a simple exchange. Attention for progress, progress for belief, belief for the next action. Round after round, that loop forges a life. You notice you're less available for things that don't matter and more present for the things that do. When someone brings drama, you bring a boundary. When a distraction knocks, you let it knock. When urgency tries to bully importance, you check the plan you made when you were calm and follow it instead of the panic that arrived late. You don't owe your hours to noise. You owe them to the future you decided to build. You begin to love the quiet proof more than the loud promise. The calendar squares with a single check mark. The water glass empty before sunrise. The notebook with a date and a line that says, "Did the thing." These are not small. These are bricks, and bricks become walls, strong enough to hold the roof of a life you're proud to stand under. There are days you will want to sprint, and others when the floor is lava, and the only safe place is the couch. On sprint days, you keep your form clean and stop before you break the chain. On couch days, you execute the floor routine and stop before shame pretends it's a strategy. You are not trying to impress a scoreboard, you are training trust. Trust in your word, trust in your rhythm. Trust that the person you decided to be is the person you're practicing to become. You learn the difference between friction and fatigue. Friction says, this is new, and dissolves when you start. Fatigue says, this is too much, and dissolves when you rest. The plan respects both. You start when it's friction. You rest when it's fatigue. You don't confuse the two and punish yourself for being human. The plan is here to carry you, not crush you. You stop asking if you're behind. Behind who? Behind what? There is only the path you are on and the pace you can maintain. You measure success by streaks kept, work finished, energy respected, boundaries honored, promises kept. The old scoreboard, likes, noise, frantic motion wasn't built for your dream. This one is. You keep the door open for inspiration, but you don't wait on it like a late bus. You meet it in motion. Often it shows up disguised as the second paragraph, the third rep, the 9th minute of a focus block. You find out that genius isn't a lightning strike. It's a light switch you flip by starting when you said you would. When fear rises, you name it. Fear of looking foolish, fear of failing publicly, fear of succeeding and being asked to do it again. Naming is taming. You write the fear on a page, and then you write the action you'll take anyway. Action shrinks fear down to size. The fear doesn't vanish. It just loses the steering wheel. You curate your inputs. Your feed starts to look like your future instead of your past. Your conversations tilt toward builders, not spectators. Your bookmarks begin to resemble a curriculum you didn't get in school but needed all along. Focus, finance, strength, sleep, creative craft, deep relationships, service. Your world becomes small enough to master and large enough to matter. You keep a place in your day for the person you're becoming to meet the person you were. Not to scold them, but to thank them for starting. To bless the version that tried and fell and tried again. To say, we made it through another day, and that is not nothing. Gratitude isn't a detour. It is a fuel. You pay more attention to endings. You close the laptop instead of walking away mid-tab. You put the weights back in order. You set tomorrow's MVP on the desk where your eyes will land. You choose a wind down that tells your nervous system, we're safe to stop. You learn that good endings manufacture good beginnings. The sun rises easier over a day that ended with intention. You see the compounding in places that don't post well. A calmer reply to a tense message, a shorter recovery from a bad night of sleep, a quicker return to the plan after a miss, a softer voice in your head when the rep is hard. You realize this is what strength looks like when no one is watching. You choose projects that scare you a little and bore you never. You scope them tightly. You ship them on purpose. You don't chase 10 things at once. You chase one thing to done, then the next. You keep receipts, dates, drafts, decisions, because the future you will need to remember how you built this. Not to boast, but to repeat. You stop calling it discipline like it's a punishment and start calling it freedom because that's what it becomes. Freedom from constant apology to yourself. Freedom from a calendar that kidnaps you. Freedom from low-grade resentment at a life you never designed. Freedom to choose, to focus, to finish, to rest. Freedom to be proud of how you spent a Tuesday. You teach this rhythm without preaching it. You show up on time to your own blocks. You listen better because your mind is quieter. You are less dramatic because your plan already holds what you care about. And you don't need attention from chaos to feel alive. People start to ask how you're doing it. You tell them the truth. Not hacks, not secrets, just honest reps, simple levers, kept promises. You realize that the future never asked you to be perfect. It asked you to be present. Present long enough and often enough for compounding to work its quiet math. Present enough that the person you wanted to be could find you at the desk, on the path, under the bar, in the book, at the table with your phone, face down and your eyes up. And when you finally look up from your week, your month, your year, you see a life that makes sense from the inside. Not because everything is easy, but because the hard things are chosen and the easy things are earned. You taste the rare satisfaction of being tired in the right way, spent from building something you believe in. You put your head on the pillow, write one line, kept the promise, and turn out the light on a day that respected itself. Tomorrow you will do it again. Not because you must, but because you may. Because this is who you are now. Because this is what you do when you trust yourself. Because minutes are the atoms of a destiny, and you have learned to arrange them with care. The clock will not slow down for anyone, but it will cooperate with those who use it well. Use it well. Keep the chain, guard the flame, build the life. Start where you are, with what you have, for as long as it takes, until the habits are your name, the evidence is your voice, and the future is no longer a stranger, but a place you come home to, hour by hour, by the simplest possible path. Begin, focus, finish, log, rest, repeat.